I'm sure you picked one or two things from that health tips. Remember, one of the things or two things I picked to say, please make sure you don't skip breakfast, okay? And then make sure you sleep well, rest, take care of yourself. Now we have a mental health therapist in the house. She's also a teens coach. Okay, she's going to talk to us about building resilience with teens. Please join me as I welcome Iberechi on
Good morning.
Ever Smiling.
Thank you for having me today.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you had a good night's rest.
Yes, I
Because you
did. Thank
talk
you
about
for
mental health, and I know you've always told us to make sure we sleep well, just like
Yes.
our health tips also said. Now let's look at strategies, techniques, okay, that can help our teenagers to fight. But first, let's start. What does it mean for a layman watching us building resilience in our teens? What does it mean?
So, resilience is the ability to bounce back after
Mm.
you have faced a challenge or an issue. So it's like that you're able to spring back up. So resilience is that you're able to heal from, for an example, if it's your physical body, you're able to heal from that injury or from that thing that happened and you move on. So building, I love that term building because it's not something that just happens at the snap of your finger. It's a process. It takes time. It's like cultivating it. So you have, the foundation, you need to know the basics. What do I even want to plant? What do I want to build? You need to know exactly what it is. Then you now lay, the next blocks, the things that, you now put the pillars and you put the roof. So when you look at resilience is something that takes a while to build. And then it starts from the foundation. It starts from the basics of the environment where that person is. And then the knowledge that that person is exposed to. So
So techniques and strategies.
so we're talking about teenagers today, and one of the things I've noticed is that a lot of teenagers are like babies in an adult body. So their brain is still forming. There are still parts of their
Young
brain
adults.
exactly.
Adult, okay.
Their bodies sometimes looks big, but their mind takes a lot of. Is still in a processing stage. So one of the things that we do most times as adults is you should know, don't you know? Those things that we tell them, and those things, I mean, the person is just looking at you like, I don't know what to do. I'm asking here. So thank you for even bringing that up because what we need to do, one of the basic thing you need to understand is, like I always say in anytime I talk to people, I talk with my clients, I tell them that the capacity to be resilient, the capacity to adapt, the capacity to grow is already inside of you. So it starts from I have the capacity.
Okay, I can do.
I can do it. I can move on from here.
Like positive spirit.
Exactly. It's once you can get that, first of all, the positive, that belief that belief in the possibilities.
Okay.
It's like I was talking about the foundation. It's like the foundation of every other thing that you put on the whole.
Okay, so how for you, how do you think they can build their emotional strength? How can it be developed?
Okay, like I talked about the foundation of the environment where they find themselves. It starts from one, I can do it.
Okay.
Two, what are the goals? I can set small goals. This is what I'm facing right now. How do I bounce from it? Three, modeling. I want to just, something occurred to me there was a session, one of my children, she, the others had, I was with a friend, in their end of year celebration, their award prizes and all. So the others, my friend's siblings, her children, the others had awards. So one that didn't get any award, she did well, but she didn't scale to get any award from the school. My daughter just turned to her. I was shocked because we were just watching her. My daughter just turned to her and said, "Don't worry, you can. It doesn't define you. I was shocked and I looked back and I said, wow, where did this girl learn it? So modeling, they've seen how, yes, I push you to do well, but even if it doesn't work out, there is still possibility. It's not the end of you. So those things, they have seen it happen with a model, with their parent, with their guardian, and then they are now able to give that same thing back. Exactly.
From example of what
from an example. So a teenager should have a model. So if, for an example, as a parent, you've not been able to understand how to bounce back. So they see something happens to maybe your business and I'm finished, or my life is over. I cannot,
And they see
that's what they see you weak. So that's what they feel like, oh, this is what it's about, because you are their role model.
Okay.
So that's how modeling has a lot to play with resilience.
Role do you think positive mindset? Just like what we're saying now, but I know it has a lot of role to play.
Yes, it does.
So
there are two major mindsets when it has to do with the mindset. We have the fixed mindset, and then we have the growth mindset.
Oh, fixed
that mindset that doesn't want to change. In fact, practically in layman terms, it's just someone that just, I don't want to change. It's not my fault. This is what came to me. Wow. I cannot do anything about it. As whatever comes, let it come. As like so you're now. So when things hit, that is, it's more like if something hits a moving object. I think the little about physics that I know, it gives it more momentum to keep moving. But if something hits a stationary object, it needs extra energy. Either that thing it's either going to destroy that thing, shatter that. I mean, there is going to be a more massive effect of that impact on that object. So when we talk about the fixed mindset, it actually affects a lot of people. I mean, even with my clients, with the teenagers I coach, once they say, no, we're from a poor background, there's nothing we can do. But a growth mindset is, I understand that I have capacity to change.
Okay.
I have capacity to do better. And it now starts seeking solution. How do I do better? A fixed mindset is, I cannot change. This is how I am. A growth mindset thinks, how do I do better? How do I progress from here? So these two, it has a major role to play in our mental capacity, in our capacity to recover from challenges that we face.
I also know that fear of the unknown, that fear of what will happen if I take this step, if I take it, that you understand.
Yes.
And then, what about if I fail? So how do you think teenagers can manage setbacks and challenges?
Beautiful. Now, what we teach teenagers, and we even explain to parents as well, is to help them to fail forward.
Oh,
fail forward. There's something we call it. We say learning how to fail.
Oh.
Yes, because we're afraid of failure because of the idea we have failure as. What we see failure as, because I failed, I am a failure. It's different. Failure can be seen once you have the correct perception of what failure is. It can be seen as something that will motivate you. Yeah. Thank you. A stepping stone. So one of our coaches was, recently in a session, one of the things he said, is your failure a motivator or a limitation? So when you begin to see failure as a motivator, okay, so this has happened, I have failed, does not mean that I am going to remain here. So I know how better not to do it next time. Take time to check, what did I do wrong? Did I not study properly? Or maybe I didn't answer the questions well, or maybe I was too hasty. Those, allow yourself time. So that you failed. I mean, sometimes even when I talk with some of my teenagers, I tell them, I said, if there is any reason for you to repeat a session, do it. Okay. Don't see it as, oh, my mates are moving forward and I'm back. No, it's a learning process. It's a process for growth and maturity. And that's what separates the people that we say are more emotionally mature than the people that are just physically mature and there's no emotional maturity.
Okay. Where is the place? Is there any place for exercise? Is there anywhere exercise can help?
Definitely. So, like when you're building your physical strength, you exercise your body to build physical strength. When you need to build emotional and mental strength, that is resilience, you need to exercise your emotions. That's what we call emotional regulation. So you learn how to, I'm upset. It doesn't mean that anger is evil or, failure is bad.
Okay.
It's now how I use that, how I learn from that. What were the triggers? What made me feel like this? How can I react better? So you recognize in order to respond accurately. Now, like I said, it's a process. You don't just suddenly you know how to handle your emotions. So one of the things that my children do, and some of these things are just things I do unconsciously, and then they've observed it and they now know better. So if any of them, like amongst them, someone is really upset, the other one just calm down, breathe before you respond. It may not be the way. Even when I look at them, I'm like, okay, this is good. So knowing how to, yeah, the last time someone offended me, I was upset and I threw a tantrum and I broke the next time. What do I do differently? How do I now manage it? But you have to exercise it, not run away from it.
Now, as we round up your final word, what role do you think community, when I mean community, know what I mean, can play to help our teenagers? Because I know that a lot of them are battling with either drug abuse,
Yes.
negative peer pressure, a lot of what I call financial challenges, especially in our school, universities. So, what role do you think all of us, as you round off as your final word?
Thank you very much. So what I want to encourage first for the teenagers is please find a role model. Find someone that has walked the waters that would be able to hold your hands and help you to make that transition. Even if you don't have it in your parents, you may have it as a teacher in school. You may have as someone that maybe in your place of worship or someone that you recognize. Find a role model, find a mentor. That's one. Because in community, the side I'm from, they say it's not one person that trains a child. It's a community that trains a child. Then the second thing I want to encourage is please live in the moment. Like we were saying before, we started recording. Live one day at a time because there's this thing of, hey, I want to make plenty money so that I'll be like this person. Forget that thing you see on social media is acting. It's not the reality. It's make believe. So live in the moment. And that's what we call mindfulness. What is going on with me now? What is happening with me now? Then the third thing I want to encourage, journaling. Take notes of that. Keep a journal. Then we used to have diaries, what we call, that's what it is. Keep diaries, digital diary, physical diary, keep diaries.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You see, as you're talking, I see the passion. I see the passion because I know that I've seen where you address the teenagers in schools, you go around schools talking to them, Thank you so much.
Thank you so much
Building resilience in our teens is something that we must pay attention to because a lot of things they are like vulnerable.
Yes.
A lot of things are happening, especially when they are in an environment where the basic things are not available. They tend to just do what they are not supposed to do. Thank you so much. We'll be speaking with a mental therapist, a teens coach, someone who has passion for the teen, a Eberechi honor. You've heard all she said. All hands need to be on deck. Honestly, we need to hold our youth. We need to have listening ear. We need to help them come out of challenges and then tell them there is hope. All right. The program is still Good Morning Abuja. Now let's take this musical, and this time we're going traditional. Let's go there. And afterwards, the program continues. Please don't go anywhere. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is still Good Morning Abuja on NTA Channel 5, the Unity Station. We just had that traditional music for you. We hope you joined us to dance to it. We have a doctor in the house, and this time we want to address something that is very common. Okay, we want to talk about myopia, a rising public health concern. That is what it is. Please join me as I welcome Dr. Ozi Okonokwa, a public health and also an optometrist, okay, and former president, Nigerian Optometric Association. Thank you so much for joining
Thank you for having me and good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much. Okay, Doc, for a layman, that is listening or watching, the person will begin to wonder what is myopia? And then why has it become a rising health concern? So what is it?
Okay, myopia is a form of error of refraction of the eye. In simple terms, it just means that the eye is not able to bend the light properly to enable the patient see clearly. And in most cases, these persons are not able to see things that are far away from them clearly.
Mm.
They may be able to see things that are close, but they can't see objects or items that are far from them, clearly. So in a nutshell, they have poor vision at far.
Oh, okay. So, what are the causes?
Now, the causes of myopia are not going to be easy to explain, but I would rather look at it from the angle of risk factors. What are the things that will make somebody predisposed to myopia? One is a history of myopia in the family,
Okay.
where there's
Hereditary.
yes,
Wow.
it tends to run in the family.
Okay.
So persons whose parents, have myopia, stand the risk of also
Mm.
developing myopia. It shows early in life. It's not something that appears in adulthood.
Mm.
It is usually from childhood that you see patients, coming up with myopia. Another thing that may also predispose persons to myopia is race or ethnicity. We have found that it's more common in persons of Asian descent.
Okay.
So the Asians tend to have a whole lot of population that have myopia. However, it doesn't rule out any other race. We find it a lot also amongst Africans. So those are the risk factors basically. One is the history of myopia in the family, and then secondly, if you're of Asian descent, your risk factors become very, very high
Okay.
when you have those conditions. Now, however, why has it become a public health issue?
Mm.
We are now beginning to see it more and more in our population. And that
Nigeria.
is, yes, oh yes. And that is telling us that it has gone beyond hereditary. It has also gone beyond, race. It is now also becoming associated with lifestyle.
Okay.
Yes. You will realize now that our world is getting smaller. Everything is now indoor related. We work indoors. We eat indoors. We play indoors. We even earn our working. We have already talked about working. We also spend our resources indoors. So I can be at home and order for lunch, order for breakfast, haven't earned my money in my house. So there's no outdoor activity anymore because we're now living in a confined space. And the human body is very adaptable to change. So the more you live indoors as a child, the body tends to cope with life indoors, and that means the need for long vision at far becomes compromised.
Okay.
And so the body now learns to adapt to everything within the confined space. So by the time that child, for instance, born in this era, becomes 40, it wouldn't have need for distant vision. And so all the vision that that person is using is confined to near space. And so myopia has also become a lifestyle, complicated by
Complicated.
lifestyle.
Okay. For you, what do you think are the impacts on one's overall eye health?
Okay, thank you very much. The impact is enormous.
Mm.
Now, once somebody has myopia, the risk or the chances of that person developing something like cataract doubles. Oh, yes. So myopia doubles the chances of somebody developing cataract early.
Mm.
It triples the chances of somebody developing glaucoma.
Oh.
Oh, yes. And
What
they,
about the children? Are they also affected
now
by?
you may be surprised to learn that now we're beginning to find glaucoma in younger ages than we used to find, way back then.
Hmm.
Glaucoma used to be a disease or a
The
condition
elderly.
that is for the elderly.
Mm.
Now you find it in young children.
Wow.
So these are some of the things that is making us throw lights and raise the flag as far as myopia, is concerned.
Mm.
And now, if I'll just give you an instance, somebody who has myopia of between -1 to -3 has about 3% or three times chances of developing retinal detachment as against somebody who is normal sighted. Now, if that myopia doubles to say -6, for instance, that already triples the chances of that person developing glaucoma. And for somebody whose myopia is more than -6, the chances of that person developing something as simple, let me put it in quote now, as glaucoma becomes about 14 times that of a normal sighted person. And it's 22 times the chances of that person developing retinal detachment as against somebody who's normal sighted. So it's a very huge red flag that we must begin to lay emphasis on. So the impact on the overall visual eye health or visual health of the person is enormous, when myopia is in place. Now, this is also not to take out the place of, coping in a normal condition. The person's ability to drive at night is also impacted negatively because myopia on its own makes the vision at far reduced. Now, at night, when that person is driving, this is also doubled because night also means reduced illumination. So, poor vision at night, poor ability to drive, as well as poor ability to cope and adapt to light changes in light situation also is a very huge risk factor. And then one thing I must also mention, the quality of life of the person who has myopia also diminishes. Now, somebody who is suffering from myopia cannot walk around in the normal circumstances. If there are steps or there are obstacles, because of the poor vision, the ability to navigate this environment becomes a lot more
That means
impaired.
that's when the thing has gotten to a very high stage.
Oh yes, and
Because I believe that maybe the early stage, one can still be able to manage.
yes, of course, when the myopia, for instance, is like -1, the person is able to cope and adapt, is able to manage nine.
That's why I use the word
Yes.
manage.
So, but as the myopia progresses and becomes, higher in terms of dioptric value, the patient's ability to cope with life becomes a lot more difficult if not treated.
Okay. Now, in your field, are there new developments to helping that in okay, new developments that are in your field, new development that is on ground to help, this myopia issue?
Well, there are the conventional ones. Let me start with the conventional ones. The use of spectacle prescriptions to tackle the issue of myopia. Glasses, can help to correct, in quotes, myopia. Contact lenses also, comes in pretty handy for persons who have myopia. And there is the latest one that is in use is laser treatment.
Okay.
Yes, the use of laser to correct now or reshape the cornea such that the person is able to, achieve, normal visual acuity.
Okay.
That's also in place, depending, of course, on where you find yourself and the resources that is available to you. But the simple, very simple, handy, low-hanging fruits that we can use to tackle myopia is spectacle prescription that can help to, correct the refractive error.
Okay. So, as a professional, what advice do you have for parents, especially now? Everybody's glued to the phone, glued to the computer. You understand? So, what advice do you have for us?
All right. You see, one of the biggest reasons why myopia is becoming a rising public health concern is because, like I said before, our world is now reduced to a confined space. And that reduction has brought us to the use of mobile devices. So everything that we do now is on a mobile device. Whether it be you are playing games, you're walking, you're reading, you're watching movies, it's on a mobile device. So the screen time is a very huge risk factor for development of myopia. So the first thing I would say is for us to reduce the screen time as much as we can. Reduce your dependence on these devices. Now, it is not just the mobile device, whether it be your laptop or your desktop. That's where our world has been reduced to. It's either our world has been reduced to either the palm top, laptop, or the desktop. So if we can reduce the amount of time we spend on the screen, how can we achieve that? There's a simple rule that we have put, as professionals in place for persons to be able to reduce. I'm not talking about completely eliminating, but reducing this effect of myopia is to apply what we call the 20-20-20 rule.
20-20-20 rule.
Yes.
Okay.
This rule stipulates that you should use your device for about 20 minutes,
Okay.
whether it be your laptop, your desktop, or your mobile device for 20 minutes, and remove your eyes from that object for 20 seconds.
Okay.
And then focus
20.
on an object that is 20 feet away from you.
Wow. 20-20-20. Okay.
So there are three 20s there.
Okay.
20 minutes of concentrated, focused work.
And 20 minutes of removal.
20 seconds. Not even 20. 20 seconds.
Okay. And then 20.
Look at an object that is 20 feet away from you. And then you can now revert to what you were doing.
Very simple.
Very simple, So that is one. And then secondly, most importantly, is that we should spend some time outdoors. Yes, the eye also needs to be exercised. Now, the more you are looking at an object at near, the more the muscles of the eyes are concentrated and they are focused on this object. So they are contracted in order for you to look at these objects at close range. So, but if you are outdoors, the ocular muscles are more relaxed and they tend to want to look at objects that are far away from you. So in that process of exercising the ocular muscles, you remove the strain from them. You remove the kink. I use the word kink to represent spasm because they are tight. So if you allow them to, allow your muscles to breathe, if I can use that term, allow them to, look at your environment. So they serve two purposes. One, you allow the eye some time to relax, and then you also, appreciate nature, in the process, taking fresh air, exposing yourself to the environment is also a good factor. So the amount of time we spend indoors now is becoming a problem. And especially for children, please allow them to go out to play. Allow them to go out to play. These days, because parents are so busy, in order to avoid distractions from children, they confine them to devices, in their rooms. But if you allow these children, even if you can, because of safety and security, you don't want to allow them in the streets, allow them within the confines of your compound. To go outside, leave the confinement of the house, of the room, the living room or the bedroom, and let them go out and walk around. And that way you'll be able to also reduce their risk of developing myopia in the future.
Thank you so much, Doctor. You've said a lot. Where do we even start from? But I picked the 20-20 therapy. You heard it too, the 20-20. So 20 minutes, remove your eyes from your phone or your computer, and then 20 seconds. Look away from it 20 seconds, and then another 20 minutes.
No, you're looking at an object that is 20 feet away from you.
Wow. Please practice it. I call it a therapy that will help you. Thank you so much, Doctor. We've been talking about myopia, and then you heard it. It has become a serious health concern, rising health concern. So please take care of your eyes. Thank you. Now we want to go on a break, and when we come back, the program continues. Please don't go anywhere. Welcome back. It's good to know that you are still there. Now we want to talk about the reasons behind the low marriage rates of matured singles. I'm sure you're wondering why we are discussing this. We have a relationship coach who feels that we need to talk about it. Please join me as I welcome Reverend Simon Asemota. Sir, you're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you so much for deciding to talk about it. Because a lot of people will say, wow, okay, what are their reasons?
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's start now. What do you think is behind it? Let me put it that way.
Okay, many times, let me start from education and working class. I want to attain some certain height. And in so doing, now neglect when men start coming their way at a very prime age, that prime, they neglect those men. Oh, it's not my class. It's not what I want. And before you know it, their biological clock is ticking. And before you know it, they are 38 years old because they set a high standard for themselves that they cannot meet. So at the time they are ready, there is no men of their age that want to marry women of their type. So at that time, they become neglected and they now pursue career. And that brings a lot of the reason why you are seeing a lot of older people, older ladies that are not married. That's the reason, because they just want to, I want to pursue my career. I should pursue your career. Don't forget, everything has season. And
Time and season.
because they miss that season, it becomes more difficult. There's an age you get to as a woman where a day you can have about 4 or 5 men proposing to you. That time is not, that is your time. That is the age of 20, 25, 26,
30.
30. By the time you now get to that 35, nobody will believe that you are not a mother. Even though you have,
Seriously?
oh yes, even though you have a lot of pancake. By the time somebody brings, by the time makeup cannot make it up. Because by the time somebody now bring a lady and you bring it to your mother, the mother will call his son for a meeting. He might smile with you when you go say, what are you doing with that old girl? How old is she? What has she been doing? Why has she not? So those are the things. So don't allow your career or education. All you need to do, discuss with the man you want to marry. I know there are men that will not change at the end of the day, but don't use one, don't do like Bobo Nishi, one medicine can cure everything.
What mess?
One,
Reverend.
yes, so it becomes a problem. Another thing again is parents. Many parents become an impediment to their daughter or their son. Even some, I know a boy, the mother say must marry from their tribe. And this boy is now 45.
Wow.
And the mother refused him to get married. So parents become impediment, become a blockage. Because if it's not from our tribe, I won't allow you to over my dead body. Why are you so particular about your tribe? Because somebody from that tribe offended you, and you say because it's from that tribe, because of the offense of 1936, it's not disturbing the child of now
Okay,
2004.
I also think that from the point you raised now,
Yes.
the bride price and the price list of
There's a case my sister was discussing with me today while we were on air on radio. Was talking about a guy went to go and marry from here, went to Calabar to pay dowry. He got there, they checked the list, they said the list that he did not meet up to the list, whether he will go and come back. And that was the end of the marriage.
Wow.
And he didn't come back.
Why would he come
Because
back?
somebody that you are supposed to encourage, you are not
Yes.
selling the girl. There's also somebody that called me today. He said he married his wife. The parents said, you are married to our first daughter. You must make us proud. And the man went and borrowed money. It took him 7 or 9 years for him to pay the money he borrowed for wedding. So why do you need to go there? A lot of them are parents. Many parents are the cause why their daughter. There's even one I also got to know about. The parents said the girl is earning very well. So if he gets married, no, the boy, nobody will come. The money, he will not get the money again. So he now kept his 2 daughters. They are now 38 to 40 years. They are not married. So now when people ask them, they cover it with career. Time will fail me to talk about even parents that set standard that uses their daughter or their son as a business settlement because you are very close to so and so, you have to marry so and so.
Yes.
Those are the reasons. Apart from the economic situation we find ourselves, you don't need too much to get married. When parents encourage their daughter and their son, they can help them to get married, not setting a high standard.
Honestly.
And another one again, another set of people that are not married that you see is because they are having what married people are having. Whatever a man can get free, will not pay for. Even me, I won't pay if I can get it free. So why will somebody want to go and pay dowry on your head when he has everything?
Yeah.
He has you can stay in the same place.
You've even given back.
You give him what? Okay, what? Now you now have a title called baby mama and you have baby papa. So now that you are now decided to name yourself, what other name do you want
Baby
to
mama
answer?
and baby papa.
Yes. So at the end of the day, these are the things that are causing it. And a lot of people don't even know what they want. A lot of them, they are using, okay, what about the one that said, my daughter will not marry except the person they want to marry must be a president's son. And president's son are already married. So which of the president? You want to wait for this one or the one that have left? So which one are you looking at?
Reverend, I have there was something you said from the beginning. You know, you said when the person gets to 35, 40,
Yes.
even a man that is of her age will not want to marry her. What about the place of love?
You see,
What about the place of
it's
love?
it's not all the time. What I'm just talking about what work, what we see naturally. Yes, there is love. You will find love. But the truth of it is that when you now neglect when men are proposed to and pursue, what I'm saying that you can also pursue your career.
Okay.
Don't allow your career to blind you. You have a career, discuss with the person you want to get married to.
Okay.
Okay, I want to be this. This is my area. How do we fit in? Both of you to discuss. If number one will not agree, number two will agree. It's not the person you meet the first time that you have to marry. If marriage is somebody that have a vision, you have a direction, it's a journey.
Okay.
And when you meet a guy, or as a man meet a woman, you ask the woman should ask the man, not just when the man said I love you, don't tell the man I love you too. It's wrong, it's an error to tell the man I love you. It's the truth.
Oh,
yes.
In this part of the world.
In the whole world. You don't tell a woman, you don't tell a man I love you.
Serious?
What you tell a woman is, what you tell a man is that where are we going? Because marriage is a journey. It's not I love you, say I love. That love only when you watch television. Okay. That's when the love.
Okay.
In fact, a woman doesn't love. Women submit to love.
Okay. Now, Reverend, for someone who has a child already, for me, I believe that was why I asked you where is the place of love. Because It doesn't matter. Love doesn't care. Whether you have a child, whether you're a baby mama or baby papa, so long as there's love in it, you understand? I believe that such a person will still get married.
Yes, no. That's not the area we're talking about why a lot of people are not married. Now, when it comes to love, definitely. I have a friend that married a woman. He wanted to get married to a younger person. Okay. And this is what I'm talking about 30 years ago. He wanted to marry a younger lady like himself. And the younger lady started threatening him. Okay. So he married a woman that lost her husband, that had 3 children. And today they are doing very well. Okay. So that's not what I'm talking about. We're not talking about love now. We're talking about the reason why a lot of our young people are now getting older and now they are not married. That's what we're talking about.
Okay, as a relationship coach, I know you're talking from the angle of someone who has seen it all. Because you have a lot of singles, you counsel, you have a lot of married people, you understand. So what would be your recommendation? What would be your advice to someone who is watching you and the person, like you said, people came at 20, she was just too careless to pick one person, or maybe the parents are the ones now, they have put a big price, like you said, doing business with their children. What would you say to everyone of them?
Well, what I'm saying to everyone, one must know there is a biological clock for everybody, whether you are a man, you are a woman. A woman, it is called menopause. The man, it is called andropause. So he is there for man, is there for a woman. Now, a lot of men might have it in their mind. So I was talking to a young man some days ago. He's 42. He's not married. So I now asked him, so if you marry today, your wife deliver today, where your son will be, or your daughter will be 18, you'll be 60. It then dawned on him. He said, wow. I said, yeah, that's what you get to delay. There are consequences for delay. Because you must be able to stay alive to raise your children. There are age where you go. So what I will advise you is that know that if you know you want to be married, prepare for it. One of the things you prepare for it does not stop you from going to school. You are going to school, know that, hey, you can still marry and still fulfill your goal.
Okay.
Don't just stay there and say, until I have this, I have that. Before you know it, you can't have the 2 things. You can't eat your cake and have it. So you can actually achieve all those things, even in marriage. So discuss with the person that want to marry you. This is my goal. Put it on table, both of you. And if you look, you will get somebody. Anybody that will not fit in, don't go that direction. So that you can be happy, you can be fulfilled, and live a satisfying life even when you are alive. You don't need to be 40, 45. We have a lot of them today that are not married.
Thank you so much, Reverend. Reverend, I know we can go on and on and on. I think there's something that came to my mind that we need to address. Reverend, we'll discuss that. Right. Thank you so much. So we've been talking about reasons behind the low marriage amongst the matured singles. And you heard the Reverend. He's talking from someone who has been counseling the singles, so he knows what he's talking about. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Reverend. So we'll be speaking with Reverend Simon Asemota. He's a relationship coach. Please don't go anywhere. And remember, like I said to you, he said something, set your priorities right, okay? And the big bride prize, please, is not a business. It's not a business. Love is involved. All right, it's time for us to go into the kitchen, and this time we have a mouth-watering breakfast for you. Sit. When we come back, we'll talk about it.